Hello, it's January 29th, 2026. Um, this is a video that I've not I've not wanted to do. I don't know why. It's different. It's gonna be titled different. Um, Basically, I heard a song 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago, at church. They sang the song "I Sought the Lord," and He heard and He answered. I don't think that's the title of it. Um, but it had really hit me. It really hit me in that service, and um, I was taken back to um, when I was, was probably at my lowest after my dad passed, and I was taken back to that mindset. I was taken back to what God. I I got in bed. I got in bed that day, just crying, and and I was, God, I can't do. I can't do this anymore. I can't. And you gotta help me. You gotta help me. And and it was. I cannot. I cannot even articulate. I cannot even bring the pain out. I can't. I'm not. I'm just not in that mind state anymore. Thank God. Thank God. Um, but I was taken back. I was taken back to that day when just I was just at my lowest. I was hurting. I was hurting. And and God answered. I mean, things things changed. And I know in other videos I've talked about this. I talked about how I think the situation that was going on in our other church, how my daughter was struggling, and there's been a little more clarity. I still a lot of it's still cloudy. A lot of it's still cloudy. That's not what this video is about. This is not. Um, that's other videos. You can go through it, but the fact remains, there's some clarity that's been happening. The point of this video though is the goodness of God, which is gonna be the title of it. I'm not. I said it the first videos. This seems like it's as tough as the first video I did. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not any of that. And yeah, here I am. I don't know how many videos this is now, and I'm not a preacher. I'm just someone trying to do the best I can, and I'm trying to live my life scripturally, and I'm trying to uh, live my life to where others are drawn to, like, hey, okay, Keith, what are you? I want what you've got, and and somehow I because of my mindset, because of where I'm at, it has drawn people in, and questions have been asked. I've been asked so many what church do you go to? And it's crazy to me. I don't It's crazy to me. I don't understand, because prior to my dad, it was so difficult. And I, that's a whole nother thing I could sit there and unpack. But God really, that song had really hit me. It really hit me that day. Um, and I was like, man, God, you've been so good to me. And I thought, I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget what God did. And ironically, I was at work a few days later, and a guy was asking me. He was asking me about my wife and I, how we got together, like how our relationship started, and like it's actually it's a really crazy story. And um, so you go back to 2001, and I had got sick. I was in and out of the hospital, and I was a human pincushion for a while, and um, but through it, There was a lady that went to my church, and she always said, you'd ask her how she's doing, and she would say, "I'm blessed." It didn't matter what was going on, she was blessed. And I was like, I love that. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna start going back to this, but what I'm saying is I don't want to forget. And so as I'm sharing this story with my friend at work, I said, somehow I've just kind of put on the back burner what God did for me. And now whenever I share the story about how my wife and I met, um, well, the fact remains that it really took off in my sickness. She was always picking me up, uh, hanging out with me, just treating me like I was a person. And and she didn't owe it to me. She didn't, she didn't have to be there. Um, but even through everything I went through, the ups and downs, God was there. God kept His hand on me, and uh, my wife and I just celebrated 23 years married. Yeah. And in December, this past December, I got messed up because of the year. Yeah. So we just celebrated 23 years married. And in July of this year, it'll be 25 years. 25 years we've been together. And it started when I was sick. And and I can look at there's different points in my life where I know without a doubt God was there. And but somehow I've allowed myself to just I, almost like it's an afterthought. And I didn't want to do this video. I didn't know how to. It's it is the most thought out video. I don't write anything down. I was going to, and I was like, no, Keith, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to read from something. I'm going to speak right from my heart. And but so many things have just flooded my mind of how God has been there. And in this day that we're living in, it's just crazy. It is probably something's happening right now as I talk. I mean, this world is crazy. And but I want to, and I was telling a friend, I have to hold on to what God has done for me. I cannot let all the nonsense and all the negativity of this world, uh, and the political powers that be, the characters, whatever you want to call them, um, I cannot let them dictate how I feel. It doesn't matter. None of this matters because this is this earth is temporary. This life is temporary, and and heaven is forever. And that's the end game, and that's where I want to bring as many people with me as I can. But shame on me for allowing myself to just kind of yeah, it happened. God did this for me. Whatever. It's cool. And I'm being exaggerative, but you get the idea. And um, but man, that day that I was at my lowest after my dad passed, it was a time, and it was I just kept on. It kept getting lower and lower, and I finally just broke. I just broke. I broke a lot, but this particular day, I don't want to forget. I don't want it to be a back burner. I don't want uh I don't want it to become like the other things. I want to hold it in the forefront of my brain, and I want to hold on because there is no one that's going to convince me otherwise. It is by the grace of God that I'm here. It is by the power of God. It is by His love. It is by prayers that have been answered. There is zero doubt in my mind, zero, that God heard me. God heard the prayers and God answered. And he answered in a mighty way. He answered quickly. It was like things just started changing. And no, it did not it did not go away like I didn't suddenly become okay. It's been a couple months now that I can confidently say that I've been on an upward trajectory. I've Things have been going really well. My marriage has been a lot better because I've shared that. I was a mess. I was I was a mess, and I don't want to. I don't. I think far too often, and I'm just going to use myself as an example. I allowed myself to just, like I said, it's cool. Yeah, yeah, God did that. Yeah, but let's talk about today. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about no. God allowed a sickness and me to dwell on him and to just, hey, I got you, Keith. I got you. I know things you don't understand right now, but I'm telling you, I've got you. And we allow ourselves to just sometimes it's like in the moment we're like, "Oh yeah, God did this." And then somehow life happens and there's things and it just gets buried and I was just really frustrated and upset with myself that all these years I've allowed myself to just kind of just put things on top of that, like whatever. And that day, and so I that worship service, man, that song really hit me, and I'd heard it before. It's affected me. I listen, I really love it. But this particular day, just before 4 weeks ago, um, uh, I yeah, God really, God really moved on me. God really, um, like don't forget this. And I don't want to forget that. I don't want to. And that's what the point of this video is. I don't even know how it's gonna algorithms and all. I have no idea. I don't know how YouTube works. I don't know. Uh, I I'm part of me is really scared when I title this. What's gonna happen? Um, it's really this is I've been vulnerable. I've been sharing it, but my story, but it was like you gotta dig for this. Uh, you gotta be searching for grief and Christian. Like you gotta be digging for it. You're not just coming across unless God just directs you right to it. The way I'm gonna title this though, the goodness of God. I mean, there's songs like that, like what's gonna happen, and it's just scary for me. It's really scary, and because people are mean, and some people are really mean, and I'm I'm opening myself up for something that I don't know that I'm prepared for, and so I'm shaking. It's why I didn't want to do this, and God was really it really been like to just do this video. You got to do it, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be doing this. Um, but the fact remains, God has been so good to me. He's been so good to my family, my my life, upbringing in church, my mom and dad, the way they raised us. I mean, just God has been so good to me, and I want I've been trying to just flood my brain with the all the things that have happened, all the things in my life. Um, when my friend said, he said, "Man, you you've really you've really been dealt a deck," and and I've just never looked at it that way. Because everything that I've gone through, I think it could be a whole lot worse, and I don't want it to be. That's not a challenge, God. Let's let things go good right now, because last 2.5 years not so good, and almost 3 years. Wow. If you really think about it. Anyways, I'm not going back all that, but um, squirrel. Something caught my attention. Um, God has been so good to me, so good to me, and my job, the job I have now, I mean, just so much, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for everything He's done for me, and and even I have found thankfulness in the turmoil I went through with my dad passing and how that all played out, and but I look at it now, and I didn't know then. I thought, I don't know how I'm getting out of this. I have no idea. And at one point, I didn't even know I was messed up. I thought I was completely fine. It was my wife and daughter saying, "Hey Keith, you think maybe you would do some therapy?" Okay. They tell me I'm fine, but um, I just I'm amazed at what God has done through such turmoil, and I know that God can turn what is meant for evil. And I'm not saying that my dad dying was evil. I'm not. I wish he was here, but at the same time, though, mm, I, I hate. I wish I'd be who I am today without my that night of happening, without my dad dying. But death is inevitable, and it's kind of poetic that God used my dad to help bring me to who where I'm at today. I love I love who I'm becoming. I love who I am today. I love who I'm becoming, and I love how the Keith before would not be doing this. He would not be doing this. He just would not. And or the other videos either, obviously. But this being the goodness of God, even without that night happening, without the turmoil that happened, and you take the goodness that has happened throughout my life, I wouldn't be doing this video. I just no. And next, let's pick something else, because that's not happening. And I want my life to reflect Jesus, and whatever, whether it's just simply obeying God, doing this. I really don't want meme messages. I really don't want it. And but I've had so many friends tell me how inspiring I've been with how vulnerable I've been. This is super vulnerable. Uh the other stuff has been vulnerable too, but uh, I fear that this is gonna be easier to find. And I don't like that. Uh I'm still gonna put it out. It's gonna make it on YouTube. But I have some other friends. I have a friend who is doing her own platform with the trials, the traumas that she's gone through, and I love seeing who she's becoming. I love the strength that she is displaying, and she does her own videos. She does what she's got going on, and I love it. I love she's adding her fitness journey, her mental journey, uh, and um, the just the struggles that she's dealt with, that she's been dealt, and how she's overcoming it, and she's being a voice for women, and just it's geared towards women, but it's just really inspiring because she's my friend, and but it's inspiring to see this person that has been inside all these years, and it's just now coming through, and so she too is um being this new butterfly, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love seeing it. So she had just shared something the other day. I was like, "All right, Keith." I told her, I said, I'm really proud of you, and she said, "Likewise." Same thing with me, with how I'm sharing. And I was like, "All right, Keith, you got to do this." And so things just kept getting in the way, and because I really didn't want to do this, I did not want to do it, and but I want to remember, and I hope whoever's watching this, you just sit there and think about what God has done in your life, and if God hasn't done anything, God's done something. God has done something, and but man, if you are truly seeking after Him, I tell you what, this is the best life. It's the best life, and the ups and downs. Like I said, I would not, if it was not for Him, I would not be here. I wouldn't. The prayers, everything. I wouldn't be here, and and God has been so good to me. I sought the Lord; He heard and He answered. Amen. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, and I don't ever want to forget it. I especially don't want to ever cover up what happened that day, and God heard me. I don't ever want it to become like the other stuff in my life. I wanted to I wanted to be the dust kept off it. I want it to be on the top. I don't want to be covered. And I want to share with everyone what God did for me, and is doing for me. The transformation that's happening. I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. I sought the Lord and He answered.